What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel. As I mentioned in my last video, I just serviced the car, new tires, and I've done quite a bit of maintenance work. In today's video, I'm going to talk about maintenance costs on the CLA45 AMG. So I own this car just about 9 months now, and I've serviced the car recently, like 3-4 weeks ago now. I've replaced tires and I've also changed brakes. That was about 2 months ago. So in today's video, I want to talk to you more of all the maintenance costs, so how much it costs to basically maintain a car like this. So before we talk about costs, let me just mention first all the stuff that I actually did to the car maintenance wise. So I serviced the car just needed a standard service, so that's like a basic oil change service, which is done every year. And then I replaced my tires, the front tires of this car, so 2 new tires. And then finally I did about 3 months ago brakes, which wasn't really essential. Like, I didn't have to do it. I still had a bit of brake life into it, but I just changed it as I mentioned previously because braking noise that got me irritated, so I just decided to replace the brakes. But so these are the stuff I done. Now let's talk about how much money I paid for each of these kind of things. First of all, let's talk about the service, the oil change service. Now, I did not do the service direct by Mercedes dealership because for 2 reasons. The main reason is that this car hasn't got, well, it has service history by Mercedes, but the last 2 services has not been done direct on Mercedes. It's been done by AMG specialist. So in my opinion, it wasn't essential to do it direct on Mercedes. Besides the point, I did save quite a bit of money. So we'll talk exactly how much. So this car, a service requires about 7 liters of oil and an oil filter. That's basically an oil change service. It's quite simple, probably takes half an hour to do if someone who knows what they're doing. So what I done is I went to my top garage, which I trust. I ordered the parts myself. Let me just check. Mobile One, yeah, Mobile One oil is the recommended oil by Mercedes. So Mercedes, if you would service this car Mercedes, they would use the same oil, Mobile One oil. So what I did is I ordered 2 5-liter cans, so that's 10 liters of Mobile One oil. As I said, the car would only need 7, so you have 3 liters spare basically. And then I ordered a oil filter, original one by Mercedes, so came in original Mercedes box with a model number and all that stuff. So I did not order aftermarket parts, all original parts, and all that together costed me £98. So that's 10 liters of oil and original oil filter for £98. Then obviously I did not do it myself. Although it's quite simple, I just prefer letting a special person, well, a specialist, do this. And I paid for this. Actually, I have the receipt right over here. So I paid for the labor basically because I gave the parts to the garage. £50. £50 and 40 pence exactly. So that's basically like a half an hour job while I wait was done. And that's oil service. Now, the whole thing together costed me £150. If I would have gone to a Mercedes dealer direct, which I checked the price, it would be £488. That's by my local Mercedes dealership. So in my opinion, it's up to you. You know, if you want to spend more money, go direct to Mercedes and keep the history like with a Mercedes stamp, like original Mercedes stamp. That's your choice. In my opinion, I don't think that's necessary, especially if you know, if you're gonna keep the car for a while and over, let's say 3 years, you can save 2-3 grand. Your car's not gonna be worth 2-3 grand more because it has been done by Mercedes direct. Yes, of course, people do like cars with history direct from the main dealers, but again, if you can prove that you used original parts and prove every service, you keep the paperwork, make sure you service it. Besides, these cars today, they don't even have service books. Everything is basically online with the car, so whenever there's a service done, it's just updated with the car's computer, which is very strange. I know when I bought this car, I was like, where's the service book? The guy said, oh, there's no service book, everything is on the car. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I checked it and I'm like, yeah, you can see every service basically logged into the car. So whenever you do a service, they update it, they log it with the car, which yeah, as I said, so this is like, for me, I saved myself just on this service alone almost £300. This is a service cost. Now, this is a standard service. You do have you have to do, I think, every 2 years a full service, and then you have to do every 2 years a gearbox oil service. So that's not due yet. It has been done on the previous one, so I don't have to do that yet. Now, moving on to the tires. very windy outside. We got Hurricane Sierra, actually Storm Sierra here in the UK. Moving on to the tires. Now this car, as it's a 4MATIC, but it's more, well, the most power is provided to the front wheel of the car, and then it assists the back wheels with power when needed. So in other words, the front tires work harder than the rear tires. So in this car particularly, a CLA45 A45 AMG, your front tires are going to wear out a lot more faster than the rear tires. And the interesting thing is that when I bought this car, it just had brand new tires by the previous owner. He just fitted it in like really 3-4 weeks before I bought it from him. So they were basically brand new tires, and I've done quite a few miles, to be fair, with the car, but they did actually come quite close to being worn out. So what I did is I ordered 2 front new tires. Now first of all, let me just mention this. I actually called up Quick Fit. I know you might think I'm crazy calling Quick Fit, but I just wanted to see their price. So I called up Quick Fit, asked them how much would it cost to replace a front tire, gave them the exact model, exact tire I wanted, the same brand, the Dunlop Sport Max RT2s, which are the recommended and the original tires for this car, which by the way, they are the best tires. Well, I've never had a problem with traction in the rain, in the cold, in the summer, so I definitely wanted to stick with originals. And you're not going to believe this, guys, they quoted me £388 for 1 tire. So that means if I would go for 2 tires, that would be like 750 quid. That's absurd, isn't that? That's another reason why I don't go to Quick Fix. Besides, I've been there once and I had such a bad experience. I was like, I'm never going back. Besides them ripping you off. So obviously I did not go there. I did not buy my tires from there. What I did is I ordered the tires myself, went online, found the original tires, exact tires, for £140 a piece, right? That's fairly reasonable. I mean, every garage would be like 180 to 190, but I do understand garages have to make money and they charge for fitting. So what I did is I ordered 2 tires, so that's like 140 a piece, and then I go to a garage, fit it in, which is not going to cost you much, maybe 30-40 pounds to fit 2 tires properly. So that's the cost on the front tires. So these tires are probably going to go within a year, or depends really how I drive and how much I drive, to be fair. But yeah, that's not too bad, guys. 140 quid for original Dunlop Sport Max RT2 tires. In my opinion, that's fairly reasonable. So that's the cost on the tires. Now, moving on from the tires, as I mentioned regarding the brakes. Now, the brakes is obviously something that you're not going to change. Probably you're not going to change that every year. Now, of course, that also depends how much you drive and how you drive, because obviously that's depending on every different circumstance. But in my case, that's I had the brakes that were not worn out, but they were like quite close to getting worn out. And I also went for full discs and pads, so I didn't just change brake pads. But I'll give you the price on both, how much I paid. Now again, if I would go to a Mercedes dealership, which I checked how much they would charge me for discs and pads. So first of all, which was very strange, they charge you like really expensive just for pads. So if you do discs and pads, they want to charge you like for pads almost as much as the price of discs, so if you buy it from them. And by the way, Mercedes discs for this car and pads are made by Brembo, so you can buy a Brembo direct for much cheaper, just saying that. So how much did I pay and how much would they charge? So they charge 800 and I can't remember the exact figures, but 800 and something pounds to replace the rear discs and pads, and almost £1,000 for the front discs and pads. Now that's again by my local Mercedes dealerships. I believe like Mercedes dealerships are not always the same price, so some can be slightly less, slightly more, but it could be you might get it less, you might get a discount if you haggle with them. But again, I ordered the parts direct, so I ordered the top parts for this car direct from Brembo. And I paid for the discs and pads for the front and rear just under £800, and then I got it fitted, and then I paid about £200 for fitting, so that's £1,000 roughly, give it or take. Could be slightly more, slightly less. I'm not going to count the pennies and pounds exact to every penny, but in other words, it's almost £1,000 for front and rear disc brakes and pads. Now in my opinion, that's reasonable, because those discs and pads on the car are not standard like the standard car, they're actually quite big. You guys know this has got more of a performance type of braking system. And to be fair, pads is something you probably don't change every year, probably every 1.5 to 2 years. And discs are definitely something that you're not going to be changing every year unless you trek your car or drive like a reckless driver. It's a different story. But if you drive normally, you're not going to be changing discs every year, maybe every 2 years, if not every 3 years. So I've done it now. I don't think I'll have to be doing it for a long time, especially the discs. So that's really the basic maintenance cost for the CLA45 AMG, and probably the A45 is going to have very similar costs. Now these are not obviously insurance costs and running costs like road tax and MOT, all that is extras, but this is like the basic maintenance cost of driving this car. And actually, in my opinion, I think that's quite reasonable, you know, considering this is an AMG, it's not a standard Mercedes. I believe it's not too bad. Again, I did not go direct to dealers. If I were to go direct to dealers, I definitely would have paid quite a bit more. And in my opinion, it's not necessary as long as you order the original parts. And by the way, guys, if you have warranty on the car and you're worried and you think you have to go to a dealership, that's wrong. You don't have to. As long as you order the original parts and do it by a proper garage basically, and have the receipts saying that you use this part, which is original, done by the garage, you will be covered and it will not void your warranty. So that's just something up to you whether you want to do it direct or you want to go to a third-party garage. But anyways, this is the maintenance cost of my CLA45 AMG. I hope this video helps you, especially like if you're looking to buy this car, you want to know roughly more or less details. This video is for you, or you're just curious to know. That's more or less this video. So thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and if you want to see more videos with this car, make sure you browse through my channel. I have plenty of videos in detail with this car, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.